because, I'd like to hear you talk, because sometimes I can't hear you good.
So I need to speak louder.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't got my
Hearing. She doesn't have a hearing aid.
Got it.
sometimes I catch the words.
She'll catch a word and then
Yeah,
just
right,
put the
that's
story
what
to
you
it.
said.
Do you want me to interpret? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm off camera and
Yeah, absolutely.
we
Absolutely.
can do this.
Yeah.
She hears better than I do. That's the interpreter.
You want to sit here so you can...
No, I'm good.
So today is Friday, June 26, 2015.
Yeah.
My name is Debra Polsky, and we are doing an oral history interview for Esther Einhorn.
Einhorn.
Oh, okay. Today is June 26th, 2015. My name is Debra Polsky, and we're doing an oral history interview with Esther Einhorn at Golden Acres, and her family members are here as well. And we're going to ask Esther some questions about her life and what she has seen over the last 100 and almost 104 years. When is your 104th birthday?
July the 20th.
Wow, right around the corner. Okay. So tell me, where were you born?
Below Kansas.
In Kansas. Okay.
On a farm.
On a farm. And how did your
Can
family...
you imagine a farm up there in 1911?
I can't.
I can't either.
How did your family come to Kansas?
Well, my mother and dad had just really... My mother was expecting, and my daddy... My daddy was working for a shop. It was like Macy's
Uh-huh.
in Kansas City. Probably he was getting like $6 or $7 a week. That was a lot of money. And they offered him, hey, if you will, to take the offer to go to Kansas, this new territory, we'll offer you 8. Now that was a lot of money. Well, he decided, I don't think my mother knew what Kansas was, so whatever, yeah. She couldn't speak English, only Yiddish. And how she got along, I don't know. I really don't know. Watching even the blacks here, because they can't speak good. But she got on, I guess her dad, because he could be the speaker.
Right.
And when she was expecting me, those days, I don't know if you would know, they used to have cherry trees.
Mm-hmm.
About 8 feet. And she decided she would climb up. It was a ladder nearby, and hands, you know. And she decided, like she used to in Europe, she was very boyish, active. And she decided she wanted to climb up in the cherry tree and pick cherries. They were beautiful, I understand. Well, she began having labor pains. She thought she had to go to the bathroom. She didn't know the difference. And she began yelling because she had pain. And she thought she had to go to the bathroom. And she began yelling for the hand. And they said, Fanny, how did you get up there? Well, she didn't know what they said. She just listened. And she was a very handsome young woman. Well, in her teens, I must have been about 15 when she was, when Mom was born, when I was born. Well, they helped her down, and shortly after that, of course, she did birth. which was new to her because she didn't expect a baby. She didn't really know what a baby was. She didn't know what labor pain. She didn't know what pain was. And they wanted to give her something to drink. Well, she couldn't hold it down. She didn't know. Her life, I think, had to be very interesting in watching her action to portray it. You know, when you get a hold of a person or even a baby and they begin acting, they don't know what they're doing and you don't understand. I said, what a day that must have been for me.
Goodness, hard to imagine. So who was, how did your parents come to America?
Well, see, my mother was about 12, 13. She had a very handsome, money wife in Kansas City. I don't think he remembered my mother, but he did is when he lived in Europe. And he thought of my mother as a maid because of her stature. She was not small. And she had to know how to work. They lived on dirt floor, very simple life. And he offered to bring her to America. Well, she didn't know what America was. All she knew was that she was leaving her family. But knowing my mother and her response, it had to be exciting for her and frightening. Well, she didn't know where she was going. She didn't know the language. All she knew that she could converse with her uncle. But he brought her to America. In the meantime, my daddy lived in London. He had deserted his army and found his way from Russia, which belonged to him, into London. He found his way by digging and walking. Well, they had horses, wagons, I guess, and I can't remember. And when my daddy got to London, he learned himself English. He was smart enough to pick it up. And he lived there for about 2 years. But his life was interesting because of what he had to have and how he had to learn to get along. So, and he didn't know my mother. He met her in Kansas City.
He did. He met her in Kansas City. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And where did he live when he came to London? Did he come to New York?
Right there, I don't know. Some neighborhood, yeah. Down this way. And he learned English. He used to get a paper. And he made himself learn English so that he could get along. And he said he went to a bank, which was a bank of substance. And on the, it said he found out if you have a dollar bill or maybe a smaller coin and you deposit and they would leave it in for 6 weeks or maybe that dollar bill would be worth $1.50. And that's what he was interested in. He had to have money. And I don't know what he found to work, whatever he got, yeah.
So your father came from Russia, and did your mother also come from Russia?
No, she came from Poland.
From Poland, okay. And do you know where in Poland?
In a small town near Warsaw.
Okay. And so they met. Your father took the job in Kansas City.
He found his way. He opened up a little tailor shop. He made himself a tailor like you and I. And but you get acquainted. He learned English, and he was sitting like Ron. It was hot. Kansas City. It was alive also. And this girl walks by. I'm with a friend. And she had no home like you. You see, she had nothing. She had a lot of family in Kansas City. In those days, the Polish people, the Russians, they really they all stood together. But Mama didn't really know her way around. She had gotten off of work like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and she walked by. My daddy was sitting outside in the summer reading a newspaper, and when he saw this girl, he was struck. And he followed her in two or three doors to meet her, his friend. And they were like in the shoe shop, or I don't know, something. And he wanted to make her acquaintance. While he looked at her, he was struck. My mother, I don't think, could have cared one way or the other. He was a man. Didn't matter to her.
And what was her maiden name?
Fanny.
Fanny. And what was her last name before she got married?
Hammer.
Hammer.
H-A-M-M-E-R.
Hammer. Okay. Did either of them have other family from Russia that
He had
came?
one. No one.
No one.
See, he came from Philadelphia. Daddy was much older than Mama, but he was a man that he could do. I can't. He could find his way around the world. Some people can. They can apply themselves. Some people can't.
Right.
And my mother was one, and which was hard for her, because if you're not of a knowing person, and she was very friendly, but only in her nature, her language, because that's what she knew,
Did she ever learn English?
not too much.
Yes.
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 She spoke English.
She spoke
She
English.
couldn't read it.
She couldn't read it, but
Read
she,
it or write it, but
Right,
she spoke.
but she
couldn't
spoke.
read English.
okay.
She couldn't read English. She never could speak a word. If you were to
She
write
did.
her up,
She intermixed her
she would
language.
start
did,
me
she
good
did.
English and then go into Yiddish.
Right. Right. Yeah,
Very like,
my grandmother did the same thing.
Yiddish came easier.
well, the old timers were. They had nothing, and they're new. Everything is strange.
So what do you remember about your childhood, about growing up
Well,
out on a
all I
farm?
remember is, but you see, I liked it because I like people, and I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid of life, wasn't afraid to do. But as a kid, some of the family lived, everybody had to live together. I mean, when I said together, you lived back at the store, you lived upstairs, and we didn't have a bathroom. But I didn't know the difference. So I was once in a while we'd go for maybe a bridge or something to the family, and then I would look around and look at the rooms and look at the bed, and look how I thought, my God, people really live in luxury, and we live in the back of the store. And in those days they had roaches too. I remember Mama putting it out on fly paper. And I thought, what for? Because I wanted to really know.
Did you celebrate how did you celebrate the Jewish holidays?
Yeah,
How did you celebrate Jewish holidays?
yeah.
The Jewish holidays. What did y'all do for like Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur,
Well,
Passover.
My daddy, you see, came from I'm sure they celebrated in home. But he was not what I would call close. He didn't pay much attention to holidays. Pay half of it. My mother did, because that's all she knew. As a girl, she had to walk. They didn't really have corn. They had dirt.
Did you go to a synagogue in Kansas City?
When we lived in Kansas City, I was probably in my months. When my mother was the kind of person that had to be near her family, because it was through them and she could talk. She could say. And so I was probably, I can still remember, I mean, I don't remember a lot. We lived near Missouri River,
Okay.
which was a big thing to me. And also, I loved the Yiddish language. I took to it because I could speak it. I had to speak it too much to my mother. I was my mother's girl.
And were there other children besides you?
Well, about a year later, it was my brother. And again, she resented that because she didn't really want children. She didn't know anything. She was new.
She was a child
She
herself.
was almost a child herself. Yeah, absolutely.
Some people took to children and their ways, and some people didn't. And I probably was one because I had to learn. I had to get along.
Did you go to school
Oh, yeah.
in Kansas City?
She did go to Hader School too.
Didn't you go to Sunday school?
Huh.
Sunday school?
Well, but they call hater,
Uh-huh.
a Hebrew.
Right.
Yeah, because the kids all went. You see, I didn't have a lot of girlfriends those days. I was with my mother, with the family. That's all I knew. I went their way, their language, and what they would say.
She had a lot of cousins.
You had a lot of cousins?
Oh, cousins.
She,
I had plenty of cousins.
I mean, my grandma
As
was
many cousins there were.
to many in Kansas City.
So you had a big family in Kansas
Yeah.
City. Do you remember World War One? World War One? Did your father, do you remember when World War One?
Oh, yeah. You see, somebody asked me who was the president of Harold. Yeah, because I was interested, and I am today, in what's going on.
And did your father have to go to war?
Well, my daddy, he learned tailoring. He learned how to do the pressing on the machine. And that's all he did. He learned to sew, and he learned the pressing of the clothes. He learned the cleaning business. But I was interested because I was not satisfied with what was going on. I wanted more. I wanted to learn because I wanted to get along in life. And I tell you, Debra, you have to like people. You have to be part of them in order to get on in this world. You see, even today with blacks and Mexicans, because there is so many of them. You got to know what, you even got to feel their moods.
But they didn't go to the war. They didn't have to go serve.
Well,
Immediate family,
in
age-wise, was
Kansas
wrong
City,
before.
but there were no black. I mean, we never were rather blacks.
Mm-hmm.
Those were not the. If you wanted to help, you would find the chicks that are good.
Now, when you were living, so you lived in Kansas City and you went to school there. How far did you go in school?
Oh, see, I walked blocks. And
No,
That's
Mother.
okay. That's okay. So you, and did you graduate from high school there?
No, see, that's what I tell kids. I didn't get that at this time. I remember seeing we were poor. Money meant a lot, my family. So I remember I was about 14, 15, and I said to my daddy, now my brother was a good student. I said, Daddy, I'm going to quit school. I'm going to go to work. He said, you what? I said, I got to go to work. We're poor. We don't have the money. I said, I'm going to find a job. And I'm going to quit school because he said, but you got to have an education. I said, I've got an education. I can walk. I can eat. I can sleep. I can listen. But I've got to, where I can get the money in my hand. I want to have my own money because you are poor. You can't give it to me. See, I didn't know that how he was taking care of Hyde, my brother, because he likes school. And so I learned. And I got on and do it. And it was Berkshires dress shop. Yeah, yeah. But all the help there were Jews. So I got along. Now I could sell. I loved to sell because but I couldn't make the money because I was underage. So I would give my sales to them. I would give myself $1 or $2, and then at the end of the month, whatever I had coming. But I accepted it because I was working. I was independent. I was going on the streetcar, but to me a streetcar was a lot of conveyance. No car.
And how did you meet your husband?
Oh, well, that going to work I did, but going to work I met a lot of these girls. They were older. Kansas City at that time was building a Jewish
Community center? A community center?
Yeah. On Linwood Boulevard.
Oh, I was in that building. I've seen that building.
I went with some of these girls. I live a big deal. We had to go upstairs on the bus. And they had a three-way combination blacks dancing on the third floor. And I loved to dance. Oh, did I love to dance. I loved to skate. I loved shoes. I did. And I met these old kids, and we had a lot of fun. And this group, I was with this one boy that I was with, I said, Jack. Mel had asked me then, I said, he looks like a club. I said, if you see me, throw my hand and cut in. He looks like he got too fluffy. But he was a good man. He was a good looking man. So that's how it happened.
And he was working too? Was he also?
Yeah, I don't even remember what
He worked with his father.
Oh, grocery business. And I was amazed, anything that was working.
Right. And
Anything that I could call my own.
right. So it sounds like you were very independent already
I was.
at that point. And when did you get married?
In Kansas City.
And what year was that? Anybody know?
You were 17?
September.
Did you get married in September?
Yeah, it was
September the
She was 17, so
on 39. Yeah, I remember the house.
Yeah.
So 1928.
I was
No, I
born in
was-
30. Yeah, it would be 1928
No, I
because
was
was born in
17
29 and I was born in 30.
You know, the early 80s.
Okay.
Everybody's scrambling for money. And I didn't know what a wedding gown was. I did. I had gotten myself a brand new Georgette gown for me, but I didn't wear it. But,
Okay, so tell me about your wedding.
well, I remember the whole family was there. My cousins from St. Joe. Everybody got married quick. I don't know. Yeah. I remember the family all coming in a wagon from St. Joseph.
That was his family.
Did you get married at home?
Yeah.
And then how long after you got married did you have your first child?
First 9 months. I made well. I don't lie.
So, and how many children did you have?
3.
3. Okay. And how, that was already in the
28, late.
late 1920s, so that would have been the time, right, when you were raising small children, was when the Depression hit.
Right.
She was there.
Always had depression, baby.
Oh, I always had depression babies.
I got married, it was depression, 1932. See? I remember how hard we had to work.
That was Rita at 32.
And how did you get through? I mean, how did you manage? How did you manage with the depression?
I had to take my baby. My mother would not babysit.
But how did you
My mother was not a babysitter.
No, but
Not like you.
Did you work?
Huh?
Did you work?
I always worked in the store and
The
worked
grocery store.
Yeah, I learned to work. I remember apples were this big and delicious. I thought, oh my God, I can go get an apple. I can get it in my hand in a cookie. I learned to work. I did. And then I learned how to take orders. And I learned how to throw bills every weekend. I had all the bills on my arm. Work never bothered me. I wasn't afraid.
And so did you have to take your
I took the
babies to
baby
work with you?
me. Yeah. I always had babies. You can tell, see.
She did have help.
Did you have help in the
She
house?
had domestic.
When I was first married, I knew how to get on with help. I got a girl for $4 a week. And they worked long hours. I have a long time. I learned right with them.
And what was Kansas City like in those days? Was it an exciting city? Did you still, have lots of family around, or what was your life like as a parent?
Well, we went to the park. We had a beautiful park in Kansas City. And that was our outing every Sunday for the kids. The zoo, the elephants, the peanuts, popcorn. I didn't think of it was for me. It was for the kids. And my husband had a truck. We didn't have a car. But it didn't bother me. You see, I was stuck up. I really wasn't. I never tried to impress anybody with what I had or didn't have. I was only me.
And so, when your kids were growing up, did you belong to a synagogue in Kansas City?
Yeah, we did at 34th Street. There were only 2 synagogues. And we belonged to what my husband said was the best.
He was a member. It's KIBS.
K-I,
KIBS.
oh, right.
Israel Best Shalom.
Yes, okay. And so you belong to the synagogue, and I assume your children went to Hebrew school or to Sunday school?
Yeah, well, they always had to go to Hebrew school. But I thought to me, that I felt like it was peaceful. We were not a noisy couple. Really?
What kinds of things did you do together, you and your husband, that you enjoyed?
We learned to play cards. We did. But
You
we
traveled?
had a couple.
That was
we
later,
like to go to
later.
the show.
Like to go to the show?
Growing up, it was like movies, either movies or cars.
And so then probably the next big thing that would have come along would have been World War II.
Okay.
World War II.
Sure.
The World War II.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I worked and I really did.
She learned rationing.
I did work hard. But it was something we had to do. We had the war. And my kid brother, see that he was the only member that was an army man. And I was always busy making up boxes to send to Europe or to wherever.
She had
You know,
Her brother
it didn't
was
seem
there.
hard for me. It's something I had to do.
Right, right.
Take a step back. There was another
So-
brother, so 11 years later.
Ah, okay. So
So-
this was your youngest brother that went to the army?
Yeah.
But
Jack.
you see, the customers liked me because everything was Russian. And they'd say, Esther, save me 2 cigarettes, save me butter, save me sugar, save me the... And I did. I arranged it so that I had, when they came from work, I had the item. Now my mother-in-law, she wouldn't accept Oreo. Oh God, no, it had to be real butter. You know, it was hard times, but it was, well, you had to learn. You had to be the student.
Did it feel like everybody was in it together?
Yeah. You know, we laughed, we had fun, we get together, play cards, or party, whatever. But I never took anything really seriously, except my friends. And I learned to cook. My mother taught me to cook, and I did.
Were you a good cook?
Yeah,
Well, I thought, but I don't know what the kids are.
she was.
But, you know, Debra, I've learned in life, and it's been a long life, that there are things you can do and things you can't do. You just can't.
Hey, tell me something that you thought you couldn't do.
Well, I would have loved to have traveled. Because I said I like people, I like views. My son lived in San Francisco, and I had the time of my life. I did. But, you know, everybody will say to me, right here, you feel pressure, you feel this, I said, no, I don't feel, but because, why? There are people here suffering the same thing. And I can't let myself get sick over it or homesick because I have to help them. You know, be a little bit, say hello. Linda say hello, yeah.
Tell me about your children.
Well, they were good. I was lucky. I really was.
And what did they do when they grew up? You had 3 children,
Yeah.
and
That's the middle one.
that's the middle one. Okay, tell me who's the oldest?
Harold.
Yeah.
Harold.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about Harold.
Oh, well, he was a very accomplished young man. I mean by that his education, clinical psychology. He was great. He would manage to know you right away.
Sounds like he's very much like you.
Yeah.
And where did he live?
Well, he lived with me until through school years. And then after he got married, how long were you all married? 50-some years.
And,
He got married, we both got married in 55.
okay.
Where's my father?
Harold was a professor and psychologist, besides having a private practice.
You see, I love children, and I did. It wasn't, you never heard me say, oh, I got, can't do it, kid. Love the kids. I really love babies.
She
Always
does.
have.
Loves the babies.
When did you become a grandmother? Who's your first grandchild?
Well, my rabbi. That guy. He was my first grandson.
But the baby,
Oh, he thinks it's wonderful because he was the first. It seemed so easy for each one to have babies.
But it was your youngest daughter who had the first grandchild.
his youngest daughter that got married first,
Huh.
had the first grandchild.
So,
Your youngest daughter got married first,
Oh, yeah, Rita.
and so she had your first grandchild. And where did she live?
In Kansas City.
And are they still is the family still in Kansas City?
Very,
Her
very little, not
first
immediate.
I had 7 kids.
They're all.
Wow.
That's what started the bunch. You see, up there, they had 6, they had 5.
Wow. So how many grandchildren do you have?
Almost 30.
You have 10 grandchildren,
Oh, yeah.
And 20
5 or 6.
great grandchildren?
Yes.
Wow.
And
Well,
20
they all know about it, and I
Oh,
went
she's
to,
got great
they are
grandchildren.
amazed, right?
It's got
24.
24 great grandchildren.
24 great
No,
grandchildren.
great.
Great great grandchildren. Wow.
And they know about it, and they get excited. There is a couple of flags got, one that said to me yesterday, when are we going to have the next party? We've had some good parties here.
You should celebrate every time, that's for sure. And when did you come to Dallas?
We came to Dallas. In fact, I was thinking of myself, where I live. When did I come to Dallas?
I would say
It's,
53, 54.
We came the first time in the 30s.
I think you came.
I had all my
I think
days.
54, Mom. You moved here in 54.
Didn't Grandma and Grandpa move
Well, they
here?
hit first.
They came down
To
in
her parents.
36.
So your parents came to Dallas.
Yeah.
They left Kansas City.
Why? What made them come to Dallas?
Well, they were very friendly with it. Maybe you remember, I know you've heard of Fogel.
Yeah.
Bill Fogel, Dave Fogel. Well, they came down with the Fogels
The father.
and the 2 boys. And they went, working for them.
I think they tried to start a business together, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
And then he went into tailoring again.
So he went back and had did he have his own business here in his tailoring business here in Dallas?
They went into manufacturing. I want to tell you different. Had they been a little more adverse in manufacturing, I've known it, but they were not the businessmen they should have been. They could have. Honey, this was a money-making state, really.
Yeah, Dallas.
People came
very
from
good.
the east and west to Dallas, really. They came here for money. During the war,
Yeah, they didn't know Sankers and Harris.
during the war,
They
it
were
was
good,
really
yeah.
busy.
Actually, he was a pioneer for that, if he had made his business go, because that's what made Dallas.
Right, it's the clothing manufacturing in Dallas was
You know, the two men were just not equipped in their brains.
not
You know.
businessmen.
Well, the early,
My grandfather
Jews,
made beautiful suits, I mean, he could, you know,
the early Jews really made money here.
he was just a little ahead of himself.
I'm reading, I through the.
And his son, my grandfather's son, was in a CPA. He became a CPA. His oldest brother.
See, today they're
And
working
Jack,
a little
yeah.
harder. In fact, I was just reading. You know, I find that the Jews, as a party, are having a hard time now. It isn't as gun-centered as it used to be, you know that. By what I read, they're having a hard time.
Did you experience any anti-Semitism when you were growing up? Did you have any anti-Semitism when you were growing up?
You know, always, Debra, and this is my feel thing. I said, I'm not a good working Jew, but I am a Jew. I tell everybody here, I said, I am Jewish. I said, whether you're white, black, Mexican, I am a Jew. You can't hurt me at all. You can't hurt my feelings. You can't think I'm a dirty Jew. I may be, but I am a Jew. I do. And I feel very badly, and they all know it, that they sold this person. I think that they insult them. Go naked, I do. I think they really, really suffered. There was no reason for them to be selling. Now they're talking about trying to make money in this and that. Honey, they can never replace this place.
There are a lot of people who agree with you.
Huh?
There are a lot of people who agree with you.
Oh, they do here. And I let everybody know, this is my helmet. I said, I am a Jew. Not a good,
You're just
knowing Jew.
You're just not observant.
Huh?
You're not
Yeah.
observant.
But did you go up with people saying things about the Jews or pointing at them or making you feel inferior?
But you see, they can't, I read all these. I read, I'm so busy getting pages together.
I guess not.
And they say, now what are you reading? I say, you know what I'm reading? There's two girls downstairs working there. They know come Thursday I've got to have my,
Texas Jewish Post.
Texas Jewish Post.
yeah. They have it ready for me.
That's great.
Well, they said that one said last night, what's in it? Esther's making you so interested. I said, Freddie, that's my paper. I've got to know what's going on.
That's great. So when you came to Dallas, you and your husband and your
Thing. Well, we were all, I was the one that was home. My sister was married. My brother was just getting out of college. He was graduating.
so you came to Dallas after your children were
Like,
grown,
grown.
Well, yeah,
We were grown up.
they were all married.
and you came here because your parents were here.
No, because I was here.
And why? What about Dallas made you decide to
Probably
come?
more or less.
They,
My
that, my
daddy
father,
came first. They moved here in 36, and we moved 2 or 3 times. I was laying in bed last night thinking of all the days. That is crazy. And I do it. I lay there and I do keep thinking back of my kid. And I see myself with a lot of things that I did. I do.
That's great.
Well, it's quiet, and I'm watching in the news, and I'm thinking I did this. It was 1932, 33. I just have to keep up with
Those are the
myself.
baby years. Those are baby years.
What, when you moved to Dallas, what did you do here? Did your husband work? Did you work?
No, I learned right away to play mahjong. I had, what family I had here.
My father bought.
I had my mother, my daddy, and my mother,
That were here, right?
Yeah. As a kid. Well, it seemed like right away the babies came. And I welcomed that. I love babysitting. I did.
Kind of leaving out that little bit.
Yeah.
To connect to Dallas and Kansas City, my dad sold business. They did make money during the war through the grocery business, That's when you made your money.
Right.
And so he sold that store, and they were thinking of moving here, and Dad was looking around for a business or something. And they had answered beforehand, he and a partner, a friend, an ad in a blind ad in the paper, a grocery business, supermarket, blah, blah, blah. And while they were looking here, the ad came through, and they called them, and they bought the supermarket in Springfield, Missouri. So they lived in Springfield, Missouri for a short time.
Okay.
And then my sister and I were growing up. There was no Jewish kids for us, so 5 kids, 5 Jewish. So we moved back to Kansas City, and we lived there until my mother's.
Well, I was
Kansas City,
to
but we
my
moved here. We moved back here to Springfield.
Springfield.
Our family was here. Yeah, drew back here to Dallas.
I did.
What?
I could have told you this age that I moved from Springfield. See, we had business Springfield, Missouri. And I loved it there. And I see my husband when he liked Jewish people, he wasn't as enthused about all the time. I tell you, because it was easy for me to make friends.
So when you moved to Dallas, you made friends here.
Oh, immediately. Before I moved here, my sister-in-law were here. And last night I read it. And I could have told you all the dates because my mind is clear. And we moved down here in 1950. But because my mind, I can't rest. It's like a computer. I think. I'm always thinking.
Always thinking. So let me ask you some questions about your history. There's so many things that have happened in your lifetime, both world wars,
Yeah.
The Cuban Missile Crisis, man walking on the moon, 9/11. What big events in history stand out in your lifetime?
Well, I was watching what was the name of the stars thing. I want to tell you something. At times I'm not as clear as the last the other night.
The president?
JB.
LBJ?
I was watching the story, and I want to tell you, I couldn't get enough of what he really did for the American people. He really did. He saved all you kids' money. You know that?
You're talking about you're talking about Johnson?
No.
No, Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Roosevelt.
He did. He saved the people. You can be saving money because of him. He was that kind of a man. He could see people. They're not there. And what they had to do for him. Obama is trying, and I don't know what they meant by he was, this president is saving. But to me, that is saving. That's why I say,
I think Roosevelt was the biggest
Jewish
Christian
people are still going to suffer.
on that era.
And I said, I told the kids that the Jewish people will take maybe 1,000 years again, before, because there's a lot of hatred, money, people, they are not getting along. And that is all got to become, look at this killing that's going on. And people are not really looking. Why is it happening? These escapes.
Oh,
Because they're not good. So what if they send them to prison? What if they send them out to be executed? They'll execute. Somebody else will do the same thing. So it's going to take, it's just like with the people coming from Africa. You know, it's 6,000. I said, if something happens, I'll say, look, girls, it's you that they're talking about, you know. But they don't understand. A lot of black people are not, they're not educated. They don't know what you're talking about. I can tell when they're in my room here.
So when you lived in Dallas, starting in the middle 50s, do you remember the Kennedy assassination?
I sure do.
Can you?
I sat in that bed, I cried for 3 days. I thought, what a cruel, unnecessary, stupid thing that went on. Now, like last night, they're talking about the flag. Yeah.
The Confederate flag?
Huh?
The Confederate flag.
Yeah. And I went up for my pills, and the girls were just laughing. They're not even talking about it. I said, do you feel bad about them getting rid of the flag? What thing? You know, I mean, they don't really know. They don't. So you got to weigh one against the other, because you can't say, I am white, you are black. You can't. If they come in, and I can't say, do this in that tone of voice. I have to say, Jane, would you mind bringing me some? I love ice. I do. And see, I said, if you're going to the bathroom, would you bring up something else? You know, they don't like for you to say, do this.
Well, I don't think anybody does.
I know.
Everybody wants to be
But they
boss.
don't like it. They don't like it because they are cleaning a room. Now, my girl has made up my bed the way I like it. She has, and I don't like it either. And her name is Mem, M-E-M. I said to her last night, she got angry because I spilled some of the water in that, and she doesn't like it. And I said, ma'am, I spilled water. Be careful, I don't want you don't get wet. and when you get back and we get me, you know, I'll help. You, they want to be recognized.
What advice, having lived such a long life, what advice would you give to your great-grandchildren about how to have a happy life?
Well, I think the real thing is your courtesy, your trust in them. Sure. I don't know of anything I wouldn't do. I've got to do. You know, I have a little black man here, and I said yesterday, I said, this bed has to be. He said, well, you know, I am busy. Oh, I know that. I said, you're too busy for me. If you get by my door, would you come in and push this bed against the wall? He said, Esther, you have never failed to say hi here, you know, or hello, good morning. There is a colored man right across the way, and he doesn't like to do that, I know. He watches to see if my door is closed. So yesterday I said, Ellie, I was carrying him in separate. I said, you know, if you're a good boy, Ellie will make you a sandwich. He said, that's what it's going to take. You have to say something nice. And I should say, okay, Esther, it's okay. That's what it's going to take.
Good advice. Good advice.
Can't have it any other way. You can't. I said, so they'll kill me. They'll execute. So it's going to be another month.
I'm going to ask your family some questions for a minute, if that's okay. So this is Rhonda. And what would you like to tell me about your grandmother?
But I would like to say.
Well, I want to know what she wants to say about you.
I'm going to talk about you.
Okay.
That everyone knows her as Nanny. I mean, when you talk about Nanny, they're like, oh, your grandmother. And it's like, she loves babies, like she said. She babysat for me. I mean, she probably babysat me. She babysat my kids, who are now, you know, in their 20s.
Right.
And, you know, there's a great story of her taking care of my daughter Melissa. Lived over in the Pagewood area. She walked, Melissa had to have been a toddler. So I know she walked a little bit, but then she wanted to be carried. And so she carried her all the way to, at that time it was Tom Thumb, Page, or whatever. And she would, you know, show her off. She, you know, this is my great-granddaughter. And, you know, she ended up taking one of the shopping carts back to my house because there was no way. I mean, this is my great-grandmother doing all of this. But, I mean, always, you know, that when you say what is, you know, like learning about history and stuff, she loves learning about it. But when it comes right down to it, it's family. You know, it's like, yeah, all of that's going on in the world, but what's going on in my family? You know, that's what's important. Have you had something to eat? Have you had enough? What can I do for you? It's always, what can I do for you? Today, if she could, my daughter's moving, can I go help her pack? She cooked literally all by herself, all of the family meals. You know, for Rosh Hashanah, no, we weren't observant, but we did have the Rosh Hashanah dinner, Yom Kippur, break the fast. She, up until probably age 90, literally was doing the whole thing. Yeah, she had help, but it was like, you know, cut this up for me, but you know, she had to salt, she had to, you know, make the gravy, make the dressing just perfectly. And I've taken on some of her role, of course. My son Steven said I still don't have her matzo balls down yet. So she's quite an amazing woman.
Great, thank you. I'm going to ask your daughter what she has to say.
Oh, that big map should tell you a lot.
Got it?
Got it.
You want me to turn this around?
No. Oh.
Okay. Where one does start with your mother. As a small child, she was there for you. She was there for all of us. And still is. As my daughter said, I'm in the process of maybe moving. And she says, if you just listen to me, I will tell you how to do it. Or bring it here and I will pack it for you. She's amazingly thoughtful person for everybody. As Rhonda said, family, especially for family, but even extended family. If we bring in friends or acquaintances, immediately they're family. They belong to us. And I think I have done that as well. You just learn kindness, courtesy, just a lot of good stuff.
Great. Thank you. All right, Jeremy, your turn. What have you learned from your great-grandmother?
Well, I haven't picked up the cooking skills yet. But I've learned to be a good listener, and one of the words that is still going around is being courteous to people.
Would you like a drink?
It's okay.
Yeah, to be courteous to people, and you know, make them feel welcome. Always asking if you're hungry. It's kind of just like a hospitality thing. You know, more of a. I attribute it to Jewish roots and also to Texan roots to be hospitable and courteous to people and to think what they're thinking so you don't hurt them. And that's what she's.
Good answer.
That's right, baby.
She has quite a few babies.
Yes, you do. You have a lot of babies. Anything else you'd like to tell us about before we wrap it up?
Pardon?
Anything else you'd like to talk about before we wrap up this session?
No, there's only one thing I will. I was talking to her sister. I was looking at all these kids Sunday night, and I said, my God, they were babies, they were young people. I said, you know, Tina, well, I told her daughter-in-law, I said, there isn't one, not a one, that was angry with one another, maybe it would be, but they had that inner love towards one another. They're like one. If you see them all together. Now this is unusual. You find with family. This one don't like, this one, you know, a little bit envious or something. But this is one client will take in everybody. That's unusual. Isn't it?
It is unusual. It sounds like they learned that from you.
Well, I don't know what it's for me, but it's their inner feeling, the way they are when we get together.
Thank you so much for doing this. We are thrilled to have your story as part of our collection, and we will make a copy of it so that you'll be able to see it.
Love.
And thank you for your time. I really enjoyed talking to you.
My time is your time.
Seems like I've heard that before.